So in the last lecture, yesterday, we have seen the energy audit, okay, or the energy management chapter. We have started with the need of energy audit and then the definitions, type of energy audit in which we have seen preliminary energy audit, उसके बाद targeted energy audits and then detailed energy audit. Okay, so also we have seen what are the different steps or the phases in detailed energy audit, which are pre-audit phase, then audit phase and post-audit phase. So these three phases includes 10-step methodology, okay, 10-step technique for conduction of detailed energy audit. Now these are the steps which we are going to have a look on today. So as we know that audits need to be flexible, so this is a comprehensive 10-step methodology for conduct of energy audit at field level, and energy manager and energy auditor should follow these steps, okay, to start with, and he can add or he can change as per the needs and the type of industry. So it is not mandatory to follow all these 10 steps, okay, rigorously, but these are the guidelines on which the energy audit has been structured, okay. These are the general guidelines. So we will start, okay. So this table consists of number of steps, okay, in the first column, then plan of action, okay, and the results or the purpose of that plan. So what will be the effect of this particular plan, okay, we are going to see. So first phase is pre-audit phase, okay. As we already thought in the last lecture, pre-audit phase मतलब audit करने के पहले का जो वक्त है, that is called as pre-audit phase, okay. Before going to the actual audit of the equipment or the department or a particular sector, we are going to have a look on what is pre-audit phase, okay. So first plan of action here in pre-audit phase is to plan and organize, okay. Plan and organize what? You have to plan the audit, okay. Whatever we are going to audit, whatever we are going to take the steps, we have to plan in this case, and we have to organize the planning or the steps in a regular manner or disciplined manner. So this action will give us results which will establish or organize a team, energy audit team. So first plan is to make a team, okay, energy audit teams, which consist of some energy auditors, okay. Number of auditor can change from 1 to 3 or 5 etc depending upon the size of the industry. Then we have to hire different technicians, okay, as other than the auditors. Also we should have some managers, okay, in order to maintain the procedure. So this planning and organize will create an energy audit team. Then second is walk through audit, okay. So this plan of action which includes walk through audit will give us organized instruments and time frame, okay. So now here in this case we require different equipments for measurement of different quantities for different devices and different departments, okay. Suppose we are going to audit a particular furnace industry or a boiler industry, then we have to choose different thermometers, okay, infrared thermometers, also laser thermometers, and different devices which can monitor the particular department or particular device on which we are going to carry out the audit. So that is the organization of that instrument or techniques is important, and we have to make a time frame, okay. Time frame matlab we have to uh, distribute the time to each and every activity of the audit, okay. So that is nothing but the walkthrough audit. And last is in step 1, last action is informal interview with energy manager, production or plant manager. Now this is very important, okay. By undergoing or completing this step, we can gather a lot of macro data, okay. Now this macro data includes the energy bills or the energy consumption also, and the energy demand for a particular industry depending on the type of industry. Okay, so whatever the data is required, we can gather it. Okay, we can also gather the number of purchased equipments in the last 5 years, 2 years, 3 years. We can also find out the data of outdated equipments which are not currently working in a good manner. Okay, so these are kind of macro data which is important, which can be obtained by informal interview with the manager or plant manager or even production manager. Okay, now because of this informal interview, what we are going to get, we are going to be familiarized with the process or plant activities. So if you consider a particular industry of a boiler or a particular industry which produces different equipments like automation industry, there after the interview with the energy manager or production manager, we are going to get well known about what is the process of the industry is going on right now. What is the raw material? Okay, what are the different equipments that are used? What is the process flow? How the raw material is cultivated? How the raw material is transformed into the end product, and so on. That are we are going to have a look. Okay, one second. Okay, ठीक है. So next is, and the last thing, which is result is by the interview. So first hand observation and assessment of current level operation and practices. Okay, first hand observation means the data we can that we have collected, we can observe it. Okay, and we can give some or we can write some corrective actions in a draft before the audit. Okay, and also we can assess the current level of operation and practices. So by planning or by continuing these actions, okay, we are going to get the results. Okay, which are 5 results from 3 actions. Next step is step number 2, which is introductory meeting with all divisional heads and persons which are concerned with energy management. Okay, so now here in case of energy management means the person who are responsible for handling a particular plant, okay, or a production or a unit. Okay, all the things which is concerned with the energy consumption are the persons which are heads, okay, which are responsible for energy management. So we have to make a meeting. We have to make म्हणजे काय, suppose you are a auditor right now and you have to make that particular meeting with the divisional heads, okay, which are concerned with the energy management. So now after this introductory meeting, what we are going to get, what are the outcomes? So we will going to build up the cooperation and rapport with the different divisional heads, because in case of energy audit, the most important thing that other than data is the cooperation of particular employee or a divisional head or the manager. Okay, without their cooperation, the audit is quite will be quite difficult and disruptive. Then we are going to get orientation, and we can create the awareness regarding the energy management. Okay, cost effectiveness and scope of energy conservation. Orientation matlab there should be a quite lecture, okay, guest lecture type or seminar type for 1.5 hours. Okay, so in that case we can orient and we can create awareness for the different divisional heads to in order to conserve the energy. That's it, that is the main concern. And also we can find out the different issues, okay, which are occurred in the energy conservation or energy management with the different heads. Okay, so these two steps are important in case of pre-audit phase. Okay, now second is audit phase, okay, which is the main phase right now. So as in the first phase we have gathered the information, we have collected the data which is macro data, okay, which is important for post processing and pre processing also. We have done the interviews, we have made make the meetings with the higher authorities, etc., etc. Now we are going to the main phase, that is the audit phase. Now here step number 3 is primary data gathering. Okay, then process flow diagram and energy utility diagram. So here in this case, the primary data gathering, the work has been done. Most of the work of this primary data gathering has been completed in the pre-audit phase, okay, where we have gathered the information regarding the process information and the plant activities, also the energy consumption, energy wastage, okay, and the different equipment purchasing and selling, okay. That is nothing but the primary data, okay, the history of the company in short. Then second is process flow diagram. As I already said, every industry has a process, okay, start from the extraction of the raw material and up to the end product, okay. Suppose if you are running a company which makes a smartphone, so the for the smartphone, the smart the material which is raw material, that is nothing but some kind of plastics, okay, some alloy, some semiconductor, some ICs, and etc and etc. We are going to assemble it, and then at the end product, that will be a complete mobile. So every industry has a process flow diagram, okay, start from the inception of the raw material, okay, then to the extraction or to the completion of a end product. So in this phase, step number 3, we are need to find out the process flow diagram, how the company works, and then the energy utility diagram. So energy utility diagram means it is a process in which we are going to find out at which department how much energy is going to be consumed, okay. Suppose there are 5 departments in an industry, okay, starting from raw material, then processing, then analyzing, then cultivating, and then end product. So 5 different sections. We have to identify where energy is consumed, in which sector what energy is being consumed. So suppose in case of raw material extraction, the energy is being consumed as 2 kilowatt. In the last step, it consumes 9 kilowatt. So we have to make a record of that energy utility diagram, okay, which indicates the energy consumption for different levels. Next is, so the step 3 will continue, okay. So in that case, first of all, by so in case of step 3, there is only one action, okay, and by following this action, we are going to get 5 different results, okay. So first result is historic data collection, okay. So by primary data gathering, we can find out the historic data, and we can analyze for setting up baseline energy consumption, okay. So we get a rough idea about how the energy is being consumed. Next result is all service utilities system diagram, okay. Now for example, there is we have already seen the single line diagram in chapter number 2, which indicates the power flow from the generating station to the receiver end. Generating station में कितना voltage था, 11 kilovolt था, okay. At the end, what is the voltage? It is same 11, and for the consumer it is 430 and 220 or 230 volt, okay, single phase and three phase. That is nothing but utility system diagram or single line power distribution diagram. So single line diagram of a particular department or particular industry is very important when we are going to study the process flow diagram, okay. So after, because of this step, we are going to get the single line diagram, okay, of different sectors, okay, not only electricity, of different sector also. For example, compressed air and steam distribution sector also. Then after because of that step, we can prepare process flow charts, already we have seen. Then we can design, operate data, and schedule the operation, okay. We can design means we can design the audit, okay, how it is going to be. Then we can use the operating data of the company, and then we can schedule the operation. Suppose if you want to audit a particular sector, suppose you are auditing a particular furnace or a particular combustion device, then you can make it you can schedule it, okay, depending upon the process flow of the particular industry. You can schedule the operation of a particular equipment, okay, according to the convenience of the company. So which means that suppose if a company is taking a leave or a non working, सपोज त्या कंपनीला शुक्रवारी सुट्टी आहे किंवा मंगळवारी सुट्टी आहे किंवा थर्सडेला सुट्टी आहे, तर त्या सुट्टीच्या टायमाला तुम्ही एखादं इक्विपमेंट किंवा एखादं डिपार्टमेंट तुम्ही रन करू शकताय. ओके, दॅट इज नथिंग बट द schedule of operation. This is because of the step number 3. Next is annual energy bill and energy consumption pattern. Okay, so that these are the data, or these are the things which are the result of step number 3. Now step number 4 is conduct survey and monitoring. Now this is very important case. Okay, now this comes under targeted energy audit. Suppose if you are going to survey or audit a particular motor which is of having very high capacity, but it is consuming very high energy. Okay, as more than the rated energy of the instrument, then you need to conduct a survey, and you have to monitor the particular device for few hours. Okay, so that we can get the energy consumption data. So in this case, by conducting survey and monitoring, we are going to get the different measurements of motor survey. ओके, मोटर कशी आहे, किती रेटिंगची आहे, त्याचं ऑपरेटिंग कर्व कसे आहेत. ओके, स्पीड टॉर्क कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक काय आहेत, स्पीड आणि टॉर्क झालं, स्पीड आणि करंट कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक, व्होल्टेज कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक काय असतील ते आपल्याला कळून जाईल. त्यानंतर इन्सुलेशन कसं आहे. ओके, इन्सुलेशन ऑफ पर्टिक्युलर डिपार्टमेंट ऑर सेक्टर. ओके, इन्सुलेशन इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. इन्सुलेशन कसं कंडिशनमध्ये आहे, चांगलं आहे काय खराब आहे, ते सगळं कळून जाईल. त्यानंतर लाइटिंग सर्वे. ओके, लाइटिंग सर्वे मीन्स lighting survey indicates the condition of lighting in a particular sector or department or a industry. Okay, so this can be gathered with portable instruments for operating data. Okay, then confirm and compare operating data with design data. Now this is very important step. The things that we have designed in case of the audit, that should be compared with the operating data. Okay, and whatever the error will be, then we have to give the corrective measurements and corrective actions in order to minimize the error. Okay, next step is step number 5, which is conduct of detailed trials or test for selected major energy equipment. Okay, in step number 4, we have monitored and we have surveyed a particular equipment. Okay, after that we have to give some different trials. Okay, trials matlab different opportunities in order where we can conserve the energy. For example, 24 hour म्हणजे 24 तास power monitoring. Okay, suppose if you are going to conduct a audit on a particular furnace industry or a steam power industry, in that case, in order to find out the detail energy consumption, we have to run it for 24 hours. Okay, 24 hours मध्ये किती पॉवर मॉनिटर करायचं आपल्याला. ओके, पॉवर मॉनिटरिंग मीन्स वी हॅव टू अनालाइज द पॉवर, हाऊ मच इट इज बिंग वेस्टेड, हाऊ मच इट इज बिंग कन्झ्युम्ड अँड सो ऑन. सो इट कन्सिस्ट ऑफ MD मीन्स मॅक्झिमम डिमांड. ओके, मॅक्झिमम डिमांड समजा 20 किलोवॅट असेल, त्यापेक्षा जास्त जात असेल पॉवर, तर ते मॉनिटर करायला पाहिजे. त्यानंतर पॉवर फॅक्टर, इट शुड बी केप्ट बिलो 1. ओके, इफ इट इज less than 0.9, then the penalty will be there. If it is more than 1, then also penalty will be there. It should be kept from 0.9 to 1. Okay, and then kilowatt hour rating, etc. So this test to be conducted. Okay, next is load variations trend in pumps, fan, compressor. Okay, there are different load variations. Okay, base load में कितना run होगा. Okay, peak load and intermediate load, we have to make a trial of that. So because of this trial we are going to get this data. Okay, then we are also going to get boiler efficiency. Okay, for 4 to 8 hours and 8 to 10 hours and so on, depending upon the number of hours it is running. Then furnace efficiency trials. Okay, then also we are going to get equipment performance test. Okay, so this data is going to be is the result of step number 5. Okay, when we are going to conduct the trials on the major equipments, we are going to get this data. Okay, or the information. Next is step number 6, which is analysis of energy use. Now here, energy and material balance and energy loss per waste analysis is going to be that we are going to get. Okay, now here it is step number 6 is more concerned with the energy analysis. Okay, energy कितना कहाँ पे use हुआ. Okay, we are going to analyze. Okay, and there by analyzing this, okay, in real time, we are going to get the energy and material balance. Now here, material balance is nothing but it is a term which is called as mixing of different energies, okay, in order to produce an optimum sum of energy. Okay, we can suppose the best example of this material balance is a chemical process. So in chemical industries, to to obtain a particular output in a chemical form, where we can mix the different uh, raw materials or different metals to create an alloy. So that is nothing but the alloy is that we know that it is an optimal metal. Okay, it is quite unbreakable and easily, okay, it cannot be broken easy. So these are the examples of energy and material balance. Also we can analyze energy loss, okay, and waste analysis. So now next is the important step, that is step number 7, identification and development of energy conservation opportunities, ENCON. This is very important. After all the analysis and all the conduction of monitoring, then conduction of surveys, then conduction of different trials, then analysis of different energy uses, consumption, etc., we need to find out the different energy conservation opportunities. Okay, where in what sector we can conserve the energy, in what sector we can save this kind of energy. Suppose your furnace is running for 1 kilowatt per hour, so what are the different opportunities, or what are the different ways that you can implement and you can make your furnace to run 0.5 kilowatt per hour and 0.7, 0.9 kilowatt per hour. That is nothing but the energy opportunity. Okay, identification of energy opportunities. Okay, so now here, by finding out the different energy opportunities or conservation opportunities, we can conceive and we can develop the different ideas, okay, for energy conservation. Then we can review ideas suggested by the unit personnel. Okay, here in this case we have need to take the information from the plant manager and plant production manager, etc. Okay, we can also review that their opinions. Now we can also review ideas suggested in previous energy audit. Suppose a company has done energy audit in the earlier time, in before uh, currently, suppose you are auditing a particular industry in 2022. If the industry has done audit in the previous past years, suppose 2018 मध्ये त्यांचं ऑडिट झाले ऑलरेडी, तर त्या ऑडिटमध्ये जे एनर्जी कन्झर्वेशन ऑपॉर्च्युनिटी असतील, that also you can make inspiration of, you can copy the same conservation opportunities. Okay, you can review the same also, you can use it in your report. Okay, you can take the help. Then you have to use brainstorming and value analysis technique in order to find out the uh, energy conservation opportunities, different techniques which at what time, at that time the person's particular brain is thinking. Okay, so it depends on that. Then you can also contact different vendors for new or efficient technology. Now here in this case, you can outsource different vendors. Vendor matlab supplier or a particular expert or technician. Suppose your industry is working on a very old and non-reliable technology. Okay, so you can outsource or you can consult some different what you call it as vendors or the suppliers, so that they can introduce new technologies to your industry. Suppose in our Walchand college there is a lab. In that lab we are using the PC which is of very old version in 2010. Okay, so that in order to conserve the energy we need to purchase some new equipments or new computers which is having uh, 3-star rating or 4-star rating, so that energy can be conserved, and also the techniques or the speed of the computer will also increase, so that student experiment will be performed in a very fast manner. Okay, so पहले कितना एक experiment run होता था. Okay, now because of the help of new computer, 2 to 3 experiments will run at a time. Okay, so these are the example of these efficient technologies. So energy conservation opportunities is very important. Okay, step number 8 is cost benefit analysis. So whatever you have suggested, whatever opportunities for energy conservation आपने suggest किया होगा, it should be cost benefit also. Okay, it doesn't mean that whatever you have given the opportunities or whatever the actions you have given, it should not be of very high cost, that is not affordable for the companies. It should be also cost benefit, that is it should be affordable to a organization. Okay, so now suppose uh, there is a room, and in that room you are going to perform energy audit. So in that room there are very old lighting and fan and other equipment. So whenever you are going to give ideas like to change the incandescent bulb or fluorescent bulb with the LEDs, and old fan with the star rating fans and BLDC motor fan, etc., etc., you need to keep in mind the cost, whether it is suitable for the client or not. Okay, you cannot give higher cost energy conservation opportunities. It should be in the middle level. So that is nothing but the cost benefit analysis. So whenever you do the cost benefit analysis, you will access the technical feasibility, then economic viability, and prioritization of these opportunities for implementation. Then you can also select the most promising projects. Okay, because of this cost benefit analysis. So there are different 4 projects, in which project number 4 is very cost benefit, so that you can choose because of this technique. And you can prioritize the different projects in low, medium, or long term. Okay, so this is the advantage of cost benefit analysis. And the second last step is reporting and presentation. So now from step number 1 to step number 8, 90% of the energy audit has been done. Okay, you have conducted different surveys, you have conducted trials, you have analyzed the use of energy consumption, then you have given different energy conservation opportunities, techniques, action plan to the company, and also there are cost benefit to the company. Now here, after the step number 8, you have to present and you have to report whatever the steps you have taken for the energy conservation, or for the audit. Okay, to the top management of the industry. Top management matlab executive director, CEO, CFO, CTO, chief financial officer, chief technical officer, and so on. So it includes documentation. Okay, proper documentation, draft report presentation. Okay, this is not the final one, you have to make a draft. Okay, to the top management, so that they can finalize the audit. Then final report presentation on feedback from unit. Okay, and last step is step number 10, which includes the phase 3. This is the last phase. Okay, which has post audit phase. Okay, ये पूरा लास्ट स्टेप है. ओके, फर्स्ट स्टेप वी हैव सीन द प्री ऑडिट, उसके बाद मेन ऑडिट, एंड लास्ट इज पोस्ट ऑडिट फेज. This is nothing but this is an example of post production of a movie. So after, in phase 1, suppose we are considering a movie right now, we are considering a Bollywood movie. Here in phase 1 you have to sign the different actors, sign the unit. Okay, sign the production, producer, director, screenplay writer, okay, cameraman, DOP, so on so on. In phase 2 you have to shoot the sequences. Okay, shoot the action sequence, okay, and songs and so on. In step number 3 or phase number 3, you have to make a dubbing of that. Dubbing and editing is very important. Right now VFX has taken the Bollywood and Hollywood both industries. Okay, visual effects and scientific effects. In the post audit phase for a movie, you have to dub the particular voice of a artist, because at the time of acting in the real camera, the voice is not that clear. Okay, so you have to uh, make the background sound here in post audit phase. Okay, which is post production. So that is an example of for the post audit phase. So in post audit phase you have to make the implementation of the energy conservation opportunities recommendation measures. So whatever you have recommended, the different opportunities which are cost benefit from step number 7 and step number 8, you have to implement it, and you have to take a follow up. Okay, so step number 6 or 7 के बाद Okay, whatever the devices which you have been suggested to replace, whatever the technologies which have suggested to replace, that should be implemented, okay, at step number 10. And you have to monitor whether it is being implemented or not, whether it is compatible for it or not, and you have to see the action plan, okay, schedule for implementation for that, okay. And you have to monitor with periodic review, okay. मतलब ऑडिट समझो, ऑडिट स्टार्ट किया जनवरी में और ऑडिट ख़त्म हो गया मई में, तो जून के अंदर, जून जुलाई अगस्त सितंबर, 3 to 4 months के अंदर यू हैव टू visit the industry in a periodic manner, so that you have to check whether the implementations and the control actions have given, they are following it or not, okay. This is the step number 10, okay, which is very important, that is post audit phase, okay. This is nothing but to check the implementation whether it is happening or not. So this is what we have going to see today.